Kendrick Lamar was the first rapper to hit 100 million monthly listeners on Spotify in history, won 5 Grammys for one song, broke Spotify records with it, and performed it at the Super Bowl. Despite his attempts to hide it, it's very clear that Drake does care about the success of the song, and it bothers him.
People just hate on Drake because he's the guy.
I feel like there's something extra on it.
It's also probably...
With the beef being now nearly a year old, the hip-hop community has left a lot of questions just unanswered. Kendrick might have taken all the glory for burying Drake, but that's not the full story. The future of hip-hop was decided by this drama, and with the signs discussed in this video, the direction Kendrick is taking us might not be what we think. This is an attempt at the full timeline, from the first time they met to Drake's ongoing lawsuit, to see what claims still hold up and what the future of hip-hop might look like from here. And also, rap stands in their infinite wisdom. Don't like it when people criticize their favorite artist. If when I talk about Kendrick you disagree at any point, make sure to comment A minor and make everybody laugh. This isn't in Drake's big 3 of beefs, but the beef between Common and Drake started around 2011, and while it was purely artistic differences, the one thing that Common does accuse Drake of being is a culture vulture. And even though it was 2011 and Drake was still blowing up, Common was still way more well established. It's clear he didn't care about the charts as much as he did making conscious rap music. Oh, and on top of that, he called him soft. It wasn't even a direct jab, but Drake kind of took it personally, I think. So Drake went to the studio and responded with his verse with Rick Ross Stay Scheming, even though Rick Ross and Drake are beefing right now. He basically called Common irrelevant and dismissing him as someone who no longer has an impact or influence on hip-hop, but it was way more subtle and used clever wordplay. Common, fraud and culture vulture actually go hand in hand, and while it's no secret Drake has taken a lot from the community of rap, it's hard to call him a culture vulture when he actually put on so many artists who would be positive for the culture. Almost every big rapper in the game right now has been helped out by Drake at some point, even Kendrick Lamar.
I capitalized off that. Shout out to Drake. He reached out. How did that happen? I sat down with Drake in Toronto a while back when I did my first show out there. He called me up, man. We had a few drinks, and he always said he was appreciative of my music. I've always been a fan of his music.
A$AP Rocky and even Future debatably. So while he definitely has taken, he's given a lot. Drake's most unanimous win in hip-hop beef was his beef with Meek Mill. And this was a couple weeks after To Pimp a Butterfly, where Kendrick actually made his first real accusation towards Drake, even though it was only a sneak diss.
When I'm walking down the street, I can dig rapping. What? But a rapper with a... What the fuck?
Meek Mill actually does have quite a bit of street credit and is considered a lyricist. Maybe not anymore, but from what I've heard back in 2015, nobody had hope for Drake. Meek Mill simply tweeted out, "Stop comparing Drake to me, he doesn't write his own stuff." And this was because Drake apparently was sneak dissing him on Rico, a verse on Meek Mill's song where Drake was a feature. And at the time he was dating Nicki Minaj, and Drake and Nicki Minaj definitely have a past, but I'm not gonna get into that. Drake released Charged Up, which was a subtle warning shot before dropping back to back a hard-hitting trap diss track that mocked Meek Mill's credibility and even questioned his relationship with Nicki Minaj. It's become so infamous that Kendrick even said he liked it on Euphoria. The track was apparently huge, and even though he didn't deny the ghostwriting allegations at all, he still won by just having the most popular record, which Drake tries to do a lot throughout the video. Meek Mill eventually responded with a song called Wanna Know, and nobody liked it because apparently it sucked and I don't feel like listening to it. So yeah, Drake got his W here, and eventually they would squash the beef. And I think it makes sense why they're friends, and Drake never even denied having ghostwriters. He simply just popularized his way out of it. The tension between Pusha T and Drake started years before their explosive 2018 battle. It can be traced back to a way earlier beef that I've already talked about with Pusha T and Lil Wayne, back when Pusha T was in Clips. And to put it simply, Lil Wayne dropped one of the worst diss tracks of all time, and Drake in his infinite wisdom thought he could write better than Lil Wayne or something because he hopped in for him instead. In 2012, Pusha T released a song called Exodus 23-1, which was kind of a diss at the entirety of Young Money. But things really heat up in 2018 when Pusha T released Daytona. And a fun little fact is that Kanye had met with Drake before this and had produced Pusha T's entire album. On the song Infrared, Pusha T mocks Drake for using ghostwriters, even referencing Quentin Miller, who worked on multiple tracks for If You're Reading This. And Drake was fired up because he probably thought he knew how to win rap beefs now, and immediately got in the studio to write Duppy Freestyle, or maybe someone else wrote it. And then immediately after that, Pusha T dropped the story of Adidon due to Drake's dropping of Pusha T's fiance at the time. For literally no reason, but Drake is yet to take a W with that, besides Nicki Minaj, I guess. Anyway, you guys already know the story of Adidon, one of the saddest diss tracks of all time, like Meet the Grams level. He literally exposed his kid and it was confirmed for an Adidas press run. Drake yet again ran and never responded directly with another diss track, but he made a lot of subliminal shots literally every album since then. And this should have been it. Pusha T accepted his W and there was no question who won the battle. Drake's image should have been ruined, but he kind of just outpopulated his way out of it again. Because only a little bit later he would drop Scorpion, which would do crazy numbers. Any remaining Drake fan who really cared about him as a person probably left, but the people who wanted Drake for his music and the brand he was stayed around. But Pusha T was just not popular enough, because coming right off of a beef, Scorpion shouldn't have sold what it did. Since then, Pusha's kind of calmed down about it, but Drake really hasn't, and I'm actually shocked him or Meek didn't hop in the 2024 rap battle. Drake's kind of last response to him was, I have this big red button, but who really cares? I'm too nice of a person to do that, and I could destroy your career. Like
I said, on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no, like, you know, when it comes to me, he's not gonna have any like morals or respect. It just is what it is. There's a point where you're gonna wanna stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, you know, your lovely lady, or, you know.
He claims he could destroy Pusha's career with this big red button, but said he doesn't want to take it there because he already took it too far. Like, what? It's also important that he also roped Kanye into this when he might not have even been in it. No, I will not properly cover the situation. Kanye West can do no wrong in my eyes. However, Pusha absolutely slaughtered Drake, and if someone who is a lot more popular than Pusha, who could actually have a big enough influence to where it like reaches Drake fans no matter what, Drake definitely would have lost his battle. And I believe all the pieces were building for his feud with Kendrick Lamar. The subliminals were actually the only reason Kendrick seemed to go at Drake, however. And after Drake even went against his label to bring Kendrick and A$AP Rocky on tour for his Take Care album tour, the first real shot can only be traced back to 2013 when Kendrick delivered his Control verse that is infamous. And I don't gotta go over it, but you can realize how Drake responded. He was the only rapper to not really embrace it. I wonder if Kendrick knew Drake would be the one to react this way. Despite saying he wasn't bothered, Drake dropped a subliminal for Kendrick on Nothing Was the Same. It also happened to be on the best song of the whole album, The Language. Kendrick then sent another subliminal in 2014 for his hip hop awards cypher. And other than that, things were kind of quiet. This was before Drake was really doing subliminals like that, except on King Kunta, of course. And their yearly subliminal came again on The Heart Part 4, where Kendrick says, don't tell a lie about me and I won't tell truth about you. It was speculated that Kendrick was going at Big Sean, but now it's clear. Also bringing up ghostwriting. Drake's next major subliminal came on Scorpion on Survival, where he had lines about people trying to bring him down despite his success. And on his best album, CLB, in 2021, Drake had lyrics that seemed to reference the competitive nature of his relationship with Kendrick. And of course, on First Person Shooter, he said him and J. Cole were the best, and J. Cole was trying to include Kendrick. To keep things quick, I'm gonna just kind of brush over these because everybody already knows everything about the songs. Like That only accuses Drake of making worse albums than him, but it was only a verse, so he couldn't really say that much. Drake responded with Push-Ups, and then Euphoria dropped to go on to have a majority of the allegations already made. Kendrick Lamar would then drop 616 in LA the next day and didn't really drop any big pieces, but only said that he had more. Meet the Grams, for as much of a bombshell as it is seen to be, only says Drake is surrounded by weirdos and he has a kid, which is yet to be confirmed, and saying he has no friends, which is confirmed. Is there direct proof that Drake has done all the things that Kendrick said? No, but the difference is what Kendrick is saying is all stuff based off supporting evidence about Drake. We know multiple people in the industry have called him we know he's paid off girls for SA cases. We know he kissed a 17-year-old girl on stage after she admitted her age. We know he was friends with a 16-year-old model and started dating her as soon as she turned 18. We know he's had a child before that he completely hid then denied as soon as the allegations came up. What Kendrick said makes sense based off what we know about Drake as a character in the past. That's why I can believe Kendrick. Drake is saying Kendrick is and that his son isn't really his. That's legit out of left field, and none of this has been substantiated or fits or established the character of Kendrick. I'm not saying there's no way Kendrick did, but until there's some concrete evidence, I don't know why we would believe assertions about one's character that does not match everything we've known about them for decades. The important part of all this history was that Kendrick won and the culture is moving forward. However, even though Drake is on the way out, hip-hop was changing anyway. In 2024, you might notice that every single main list rapper who end up dropping their worst album besides Future. Every 10 years or so, though, hip-hop changes due to a major event, and it basically outlines what the next 10 years will be until the next reset. Like in 1998, 1993 with NWA dropping straight out of Compton, it caused gangsta rap to become a lot more popular. In 2003, Kanye West dropped The College Dropout, which changed the game by basically making great hip-hop music that wasn't just gangsta rap, which was the only thing dominating the charts at the time. And Kendrick's fan base is proof that the idea of Drake never died, and it didn't even start with Drake. A rapper abandoning his hip-hop roots when he gets some success for more success, which is usually in pop, has been around for much longer than just Drake. Even though Kanye West can do no wrong in my eyes, I will admit that he was kind of the first Drake, completely abandoning hip-hop for a more pop, commercial, singing type sound on his third and fourth albums. Hip-hop has always had a Drake-like figure, and I'm thinking Kendrick is starting to go down that path. Though I didn't believe it at first, the signs are showing, and the first and most apparent is his fan base, who treat him like the hip-hop savior. And that's probably why I titled this something a little bit over dramatic, is because I know some of you are really smart and can think for yourselves, and I wanted to present my take to you. The only other sign is, even though UMG probably wasn't pushing it like Drake said, the industry loves Kendrick. The people love Kendrick, despite what he wants you to believe. But personally, whether it's out of jealousy like Drake, or if people just get bored like Lil Wayne, I think Kendrick Lamar has set the stage for his next rap battle. Probably not soon, but someone's gonna challenge him eventually, and I think how he does in that, when it's not such an easy target, will definitely have a different outcome. Or maybe he's in Drake's shoes and he's put in a position where everybody wants his spot.